Hi, and welcome to this first episode of Balance, Clarity and Calm with me, Sam James. Most of you will probably know I am a coach and a positive psychology practitioner, and I help people to regain a sense of kind of calm and clarity back into their lives, and to learn ways of being able to tend to their needs and the needs of the important people in their lives, and still spend time doing all of the things that bring them joy and meaning. So I'm creating this space as a place for me to be able to answer questions that you guys have got. Those frequently asked questions that come up when I'm working with people as well. So drop me your questions. I would love to then be able to feature them on an episode. Where I can then share my thoughts and share any tips and strategies that may be able to help you and other people as well. So I thought I would kickstart us with kind of a question that's really at the heart of the work that I do, which is, what is wellbeing? So those of you that have followed me for a while, have worked with me or bought a diary from me, you'll know I've kind of got a bit of a tagline that I tend to use, your wellbeing, your way. And that's because for me, it's really, really important that it's about really working out what wellbeing means for you, your context. So all the different dimensions of your life, all the different people in your life, all the different ways you live your life, and how can you then take those the things that we know about well-being, the things that the research shows us, that the experience shows us, can really help to nurture your well-being. So a great place to begin that is to think about you, and to think about a time where maybe your well-being you feel has been in a pretty good place. So think about that time. So I'm not suggesting like a single day. Let's think about it more in terms of maybe like a phase. So like it might have been kind of like a few months or a year or so. So a bit sort of longer term. When was that? And what was happening for you at that point? Like, where were you? What were you doing? How are you spending your time? What were you doing in terms of kind of looking after yourself? Who were you spending time with? Like, what did it really feel like? So really get into the feelings that you associate with that time. Just, see what that brings up for you. Because what we know is that there are, like, if you were to look at all the different kind of ways of defining well-being, they will vary loads. So you will, kind of like if it's coming from a health perspective, it will have a different focus from if it's coming from a more sort of philosophical perspective. For me, I tend to come from a bit of an eclectic perspective, but really drawn a lot on positive psychology. And within positive psychology, there are loads of different theories and frameworks and models. But actually, when you look at them and start looking at the core elements, the core threads that come out of those models, there's definitely some key elements. And through the work that I do with people, again, that kind of like, I see that every time that I have these conversations with people and when we talk about it in the groups that I run. And so some of those core elements of well-being is, it's not about being happy all the time, because actually sort of emotional health and well-being is around feeling the appropriate emotions in the appropriate kind of sort of amount, if you like, for the situation. So it's really unhealthy to be happy all the time, actually. That we need to be able to experience life in all of its shades and all of its colours, and be able to cope in those moments. So some of it is about having the strategies and the ways and the understanding to be able to, for that emotional side of things, whilst also recognising when to say, I've reached my limits, this is my capacity, I need some help. We also know having a sense of meaning and purpose is really important, and that's often linked with that kind of feeling like you're in control of your life, that life isn't just happening to you, but you're making choices and decisions along the way, and choices and decisions that then result in you living a meaningful life. We also know that our relationships are really, really important to us. So having kind of a range of different relationships that are positive and supportive, and where we have the opportunity to be able to give and carry out acts of kindness, as well as receive that support and kindness as well. So relationships are definitely a key part. And for me, wellbeing often is looking at how, it's not just looking at you as an individual, it's looking at the community that you live within. So your family units, your friendships, your work, and it's kind of like how all of those things interlink, and how actually through looking after our wellbeing, some of the activities that we can do and the practices we can do actually then also look after other people's well-being. So it's kind of like it can be a collective experience. It doesn't have to be an individual thing all the time. And obviously there's our physical health as well as part of well-being. So, you know, like those kind of fundamental things, the sleeping, eating, moving. So for me, well-being is this real kind of mixture pot. It's kind of like put all of these different ingredients in, put all of the different elements of your life in, and to then really look at what that well-being is going to look like and feel like for you, and how that translates. So by thinking about that, so taking some time to think about all the different hats you wear, all the different parts of your life, thinking about previous times where you would have said, yeah, actually life felt really good at that point. I felt like I had a sense of meaning. I felt like there was a purpose and I knew what I was getting up for in the mornings. So really thinking about what was it that defines those times for you. And then once you know what well-being means for you, what that's going to look like and feel like, and how do you know, because what can help with that is thinking, how will you know when you have well-being? When you are in a place where actually you're in a good place. How do you know when you don't have it? So what is it that is missing when or when it is that your well-being is dropping? So I know that there are certain things that go for me. I know that there's certain like warning signs, if you like, and certain things that suddenly I'll realise are missing, or certain behaviours that habits that kind of come up for me. They are things that I know I need to do something about. So because once you recognise all of those bits, like what it is when you've got it, what is missing when you haven't got it, and then you can really truly start to tend for your own needs, and you can really start to look after your well-being and nurture yourself. And that's why it's different for each of us. So there isn't a prescription, and that is one thing that I won't ever give somebody a crib sheet and say these are all the things that you need to do, because you need to work it out for you. And sometimes we need some support to do that, and sometimes hearing other people's stories and sharing those things can be really, really useful, because we suddenly go, oh yeah, that thing that really helps me as well, and I'd forgotten about it. So I'd really encourage you to take some time to reflect on what well-being means to you. Like, what is it when you've got it? What's missing when you haven't? When have you had it previously, and what did that look and feel like? And then once you've got a bit more of a definition and a kind of idea for yourself, then ask yourself, where would you rate yourself right now? So think about maybe the last month on a scale of 0 to 10, and 0 is pants, 10 is awesome. Where would you say you are right now? And then ask yourself, if you were to improve that by half a kind of point, what would that be like? So if you were a 4, what would a 4.5 look like? What is it you can start doing today that will start to improve that and notch it up a little bit? And that can be a really great way to start thinking about what well-being means to you, so that you can do your well-being your way. If you would like to find out some more about stuff like this, Action for Happiness is a great resource, and also the NHS 5 Steps to Wellbeing is a good place to start as well. So they can give you some brilliant kind of starting points. And if this has raised anything, triggered anything for you as you've been listening to this and you recognise you need some more support, then you can reach out to me or to friends, family, colleagues. Don't sit with it on your own. There is loads of support out there. There's also some really great sort of resources from places like Mind and Mental Health UK. So please, if you feel you need some additional support, reach out, because you're not alone in any of this. And if you've enjoyed watching this, then please keep your eyes open for any other episodes that will be coming up, and share away with to family and friends, and keep the conversations going about what wellbeing actually is. Take care for now.